Alongside the Grand Union Canal, midway between the towns of Wolverton, Stony Stratford and the sleepy village of Cosgrove, lies a permanent reminder of the engineers who built the Wolverton Iron Aqueduct. The aqueduct was designed to cross the River Ouse underneath, removing the need for a flight of costly additional locks. The first aqueduct, built mainly of masonry, was part of the plans drawn up in 1792 for this section of the canal, then called the Grand Junction Canal. The first boats travelled the length of the canal from London to Birmingham in 1805. The masonry design sadly lasted only 3 years, collapsing into the river in 1808. The locals considered themselves lucky that the canal's locks saved the partly dammed river from a catastrophic flood. The chief engineer, Benjamin Bevan, laid the foundation stone in September of 1809, and less than 2 years later, on the 22nd of January 1811, returned to open the new cast iron aqueduct, or iron trunk as it was known. In 1929, the canal became part of the Grand Union Canal. The aqueduct commands lofty views of the Great Ouse Valley Park below. Beneath the structure lies 2 brick-lined tunnels called cattle creepers, intended to allow local livestock to pass under the construction. The legacy of changes in local agriculture mean that modern-day dairy cows are no longer slim enough to use the tunnel. Likewise, a tall rambler may have to take care. But as you can see, the tunnel still holds some intrigue and mystery in the mind of a curious child. There is a similar tunnel a mile or so along the canal at Cosgrove. This is conveniently located near to the local pub, which not surprisingly displays plenty of old photographs of the canal and its surroundings. In its commercial heyday, the canal was used to transport pottery, roofing slates, bricks, lime and coal, all of which transformed the Victorian town of Wolverton, famous also for its large railway works. Grain too was carried on the canal. The new Bradwell windmill, built in 1821, sits in restored splendour on the south bank of the Grand Union Canal. It is unusual because it had its own fireplace. It is one of only 2 mills in Britain that ignored the risk, as flour dust is explosive. Today the canal is used mainly for leisure, holiday travel and fishing, not forgetting the many people who've made a canal barge their permanent home. Following the canal northward from Cosgrove brings us to the village of Stoke Bruerne, home to a pretty Canalside museum. Outside the museum is a boat weighing machine used by the Glamorganshire Canal Company in the 1830s to assess tolls for cargo. It holds a boat known as a railway or station boat from Birmingham. In 1963, the machine was moved from Wales to preserve it from destruction, as this is the last known example of its kind. In 1902, a young girl at the local village school wrote a description of Stoke Bruerne.
It is a very pretty village situated in South Northamptonshire with a population of 400. The Grand Junction Canal runs straight through the village. It is especially interesting because of its locks and the tunnel. The boats have to be taken through the tunnel by means of steam tug, which goes from 5 AM in the morning till 9 PM at night, every 2 hours. The chief occupations of people are agricultural labourers and workers in the brickfield and on Grand Junction Canal. We have a full post and telegraph office in the village. We have 1 delivery of letters and 2 going out posts. There is 1 public house, the Boat Inn. There is 1 blacksmith shop, 2 shoemakers shops and 5 grocers shops. The only drawback in Stoke Bruerne is that we are so very short of clear, pure water in the summer.
Life on the canals has always included a rich source of traditional arts and crafts. Anyone expecting to find this cultural heritage nearing extinction may be pleased to stumble over plenty of evidence to show that it's still very much alive and kicking. The Bruerne Marina, where the Grand Union and Oxford canals meet, is perhaps the busiest marina on the UK canal network. Despite its splendid rural setting, there is a wealth of amenities with fuel, chandlery and a dry dock. The nearby village of Bruerne thrived for over 150 years on trade from the canal. It grew in prosperity partly because the Grand Union Canal Company had a boat-building smithy here and their workers needed supplies and housing. Bruerne lies on a hillside next to the canal and is considered the heart of the canal network, perhaps a spiritual home for boat and canal workers. Views of All Saints Church, with its 150-foot crocketed spire, can be seen from all approaches to the village and dominates the surrounding countryside. Many of the people who built the canal and worked on it were married here or made it their final resting place.